Hey yo, welcome to the Peak of Fiction. Gojo is nearing death. He is seeing the ghosts of Toji and Sukuna, and I'm terrified because I don't believe Gojo is going to have enough to exercise the strongest sorcerer of all time, Sukuna. Chapter 233 is out for Jujutsu Kaisen, and Gojo is now facing a Mahoraga amped by Sukuna's curse energy that can bypass his invulnerability, limitless technique. The infinite man gets touched by one of the 10 shadows. We were teased this from one of Megami's flashbacks of Gojo talking about a user of the 10 shadows was able to compete with Gojo. We're now seeing what that looks like. Maybe not a Gojo in the past, because Gojo is one of the only limitless Six Eyes users to use Hollow Purple, and we don't know if the one in the past had Reversal Red to the degree that Gojo has, but anyways, we're now getting to see what that would look like, because Sukuna is about that. He's gotten through a lot of Gojo's best hits. He got hit with a Black Flash. Although Sukuna was definitely put on sleep mode, we're starting to see Sukuna's plans start to pay off. From the start of the fight, we've been watching a plan by Sukuna to get Gojo ready to be cooked. And everyone has been talking about how Sukuna has this special technique, which is the fire. And I don't believe that's what we've been seeing. I don't know if the fire is one of his max techniques, but I do know it's part of his Malevolent Shrine. What Malevolent Shrine sounds like as a technique, it sounds like Sukuna is offering up each one of his victims as a sacrifice to him, to the shrine. First, he cuts them up, and those who are truly worthy gets cut up and burned, like Mahoraga. So, when Gojo first said that, when Sukuna first said that he was just another nameless fish on the cutting board, it was also alluding to how we've used livestock as sacrifices, and to Sukuna, he's just another sacrifice to his glory as the strongest. And he's slowly cutting away at Gojo's scales. In the beginning, we saw him cut away with his domain clash at his domain. Now, and while he was doing that, he was also preparing to cut away at his curse technique, his limitless. And now we're seeing that show. Gojo said that he was going to beat Sukuna multiple times before this point. And especially in chapter 231, when we figured out how many spins we needed, I was wondering if it was going to be a spin a chapter, but no, we went into high gear chapter 232, and we saw all the spins almost complete before Gojo hit him with a Black Flash. So, while Sukuna is just stripping away his scales, Gojo is trying to kill him. And Sukuna is trying to kill Gojo too at all these points, but he does understand the task that is Gojo and his limitless technique. So he cannot undersell it and just go for a full kill like he's gone against everyone else. He's trying to kill him at all points, but also he knows he has to be stripping away his scales. And in this chapter in 233, we see Mahoraga come up, and it's a 2v1. And Gojo is actually excited at the fact that during this fight, he's been getting pushed to his limit. And even at his limit, it has not been enough to be the best. It's a fact that when Gojo goes hard, that usually no other sorcerer can stand against him. So it leaves him isolated. He lost his best friend to something like this, because there was a separation between them that led to Gojo's loneliness and want to build a team. And although he has his team, and although he's having flashbacks to Toji, Gojo is satisfied. And he's ready to fight Mahoraga. He's giving him his hands. He's even he's teaching us about Jujutsu and curse techniques and everything that Gege has figured out he wants to be a part of the series, and he starts chanting to recover the lost output that he's having in his reverse curse energy. Because we also see once Mahoraga slashed Gojo, he couldn't just heal it quickly. It took a second. So even when he needs to shoot Mahoraga with a red, he does need to gain back some of that output. And at that point, Sukuna is awake from the Black Flash hit. Now, we don't know how long that was, because a lot of the times in these scenes it seems like it's quick seconds, but then they're like, oh, that was a 3-minute domain clash, and you're like, okay. So that could have been 5 whole minutes between that whole scene. So, but Sukuna's up, and now it becomes a 2-on-1. And Gojo thinks Sukuna's going to be on the defense for Mahoraga to do the damage, but Sukuna, like I said, is still trying to kill Gojo and strip away the scales at the same point. So he's now, okay, Mahoraga's adapted to his invulnerability. So when he makes contact with Mahoraga, his invulnerability goes down. And although they're both attacking, although they're both attacking and the adaptability may be slowing down, they're both attacking so that maybe it doesn't need to even adapt fully to Gojo, because they could just catch him in this 2-on-1. And that makes Gojo happy, but Sukuna is always about ripping away another scale. So now he's ripping away that confidence that, hey, like, you think like you're just going to have a 2-on-2? It's a 3-on-1. And he brings out this combination 10 Shadows Beast. Let me go back. I'm sorry for jumping around, but let me go back to that Piercing Blood Max Elephant, which is one of my favorite moves in the series by far. I've never seen someone... In most anime, when a character is really good and he's like, oh, he could do everything everyone else can do, he doesn't do it this way where he sees what someone does and he's like, okay, let me just copy the gesture and then bring it into my own thing. Like, Gege is really good at that. He kind of showed it with Choso when Choso started taking his brother's techniques and kind of making mini versions of them, but not as good. And this Max Elephant shot may be not as good because it doesn't have that poison aspect like most piercing bloods do, but it still causes damage and it's really fast. So then he does something even more crazy, not even more crazy, but just as crazy, and brings out this Japanese Power Ranger ass 10 Shadows combination of the Deer, Noe, Totality, and Orochi. It might be all of the shadows that are, I don't know, like we don't know really what that is, but it just has a lot of the 10 Shadows mixed into it. And it's the girl version. And then there's Mahoraga, which looks like the guy version. And we don't know if Agito is what you might need to use to actually battle Mahoraga, like a 2v1 Agito U. But if you are the 10 Shadows user to actually tame it. But Gojo calls out this 3-on-1 because Sukuna is too happy to get this back to Jump Jutsu. And he's like, hey, yo, you look like a lost alien boy. And honestly, like, I know it's a reference to something which I could care less about. Like, this is an insane image. Yes, you all look like weird alien monsters. Like, what is Gojo fighting? And why is no one else helping Gojo? Like, everyone else is just like, we're chilling. Like, Yuta, you might be able to kill Mahoraga. Like, you could at least kill this Totality thing. Or fucking Maki, goddamn. Like, why does Gojo gotta get teamed up here? Like, what was the team even for? And the 3-on-1 starts, and Sukuna's in Gojo's shadow, about to hit him with a piercing Max Elephant, but Gojo's still on the offensive and trying to hit him with a strike while dodging Mahoraga and Nagito. And he even gets behind Mahoraga and shoots him with a red, but it does barely any damage because he already knows his output is low, but he just wanted to check to see. But he also knows that the adaptation isn't 0 to 100 thing you hit it once and it gets there, especially for his technique most likely. Maybe for a simple technique like Cleave and Dismantle, it's like that. But we also don't know if Cleave and Dismantle's purple is that fire which helps him to cook his enemies. So that could be why at the end of it he still had his purple. Also, while I was recording this, you can see in the back, I was watching the new Premature Death, and I've recorded this a couple times, but I never noticed that Gojo says to Megami, and maybe he doesn't say it as something he thinks, but when he sees Megami after beating Toji, he's like, hey, like, you're gonna join my team, we're gonna be good guys, and like, I'll take care of you now, kid. But he's also like, you know, get strong so you could keep up with me. And now, Sukuna is fulfilling that wish. And maybe that's what's satisfying Gojo. He's getting his wish fulfilled by Megumi actually being able to compete with him. I hope Megumi's sad ass is at least paying attention. Like, if Gojo goes and saves Megumi, and Megumi does not, like, at least come out and be like, all right, I'm Gojo. Then I'm not, Megumi, I'm done with you, bro. Cause like the way Sukuna is using this, it's like a completely different technique. It's like, you know, when like you see things like, they're like, oh, in anime, they're like, oh, the gum gum fruit hasn't been awakened in years, and you're like, how? It's like, it's rubber. Like, what? Why? You know? And it's like, oh, it really is like people's application of the technique is just, it's just different when it's different, man. And Sukuna, he is different, especially with this 10 shadows. So, like, I get it. Your sister's dead, but Yuji lost everybody just as much as you, bro, and he's still fighting. Like, Gojo the same, and like everyone's about to die. No one needs your sad ass to be the reason for it. So Megumi needs to wake up if Gojo's really about to sacrifice himself for him. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this next few chapters because I do feel like it's wrapping up, and I know we're gonna get some bit of happiness on Gojo's end, either separating Sukuna from Megumi in some capacity, or knocking out the King of Curses so Megumi could actually just like wake up or something like that, and then like they'll be like, okay, we'll figure it out from there. And then Sukuna wakes up and like puts a finger in Maharaga or some kind of cursed spirit to make himself come back. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I do believe Sukuna will have the final laugh, and we're gonna watch Gojo get killed. And yeah, we're getting to that point. So enjoy these last few chapters. I know everybody's mad because it's been 11 parts, but I really have been enjoying this fight. This is the peak of Jujutsu. And I know we're going to get some crazy shit later, but no one's going to be applying Jujutsu sorcery like this. Like, this is maybe Kenjaku and maybe Yuta, since they've been watching this, they're going to pick up something. Like I said, I hope Megumi picks up something. Like, golly, guys, like, this should, like, get y'all amped to be like, bro, we have no understanding of curse technique. And, like, fuck whatever that guy with the cigarette is saying. We can do anything with curse energy. We just need to figure this ish out. And let me just ask you, like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Sukuna is about to win the fight just outright, still be in Megumi's body? Do you think he's going to somehow get free of Megumi and become a cursed spirit again and have his forearms and curse energy is his replenishing things that he doesn't even have to worry about? Curse reversal energy, like he just has to fight? Or is he going to lose to Gojo? I think that's the lowest possibility. I think he's going to lose to Gojo, but to be outright exercised by Gojo, I don't think that's going to happen. So, if you do, though, I would love to see how you think this is going to go down. Hey, if there's people commenting, maybe I'll actually make a video replying to those comments with you in the video. So, if you have any theories that you haven't heard by any of those bigger creators, come over here to the Peak of Fiction. We're happy to have you. We're on a journey to become one of those bigger peak fictions, and hey, if you're at the ground level, you get peak access. So thank you, subscribe, comment, like, and I'll see you at the peak.